Okay, everybody, I want to pick up on the Art of War. This is episode 4. My name's Austin, and I want to kind of finish up everything that we talked about as far as the introduction, so that you can have a good understanding of how to use the book again. All right, I think in episode 1, I talked about how the book is about strategy. In episode 2, I think I talked about how it's a tool, and then episode 3, I talked about the different levels of disharmony and the 2 causes of aggression, and maybe a couple other things. And then this one, I want to talk about how the Art of War has a strong undercurrent of humanism. Okay, keep in mind that a big part of this is about being objective, which means stepping back from the situation and being able to see it for what it is, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. And also, it's about terrifying the greed out of yourself. Let me kind of explain what that would give you an idea. And even movies do this. Good movies, they show a person who's regular at first, just a normal person. Aristotle, the Pocket Aristotle, you can see this is where I got that from. And then eventually they make a bad judgment, and this is the point where it shows if they're good or bad, and they fix it, and it shows they're a good person. And by us seeing that, we're objective because we're not in the movie and we're watching it. And then we kind of see what a good person does and what a good person should do. And supposedly, these messages are supposed to keep us from doing the same dumb thing that they did in the movie, or from making any type of bad judgment. So I'm going to give a little story briefly that's in the beginning of the book, the introduction. It talks about 3 doctors, and these 3 doctors, this one guy worked in China. He's the best doctor. His name was synonymous with medicine, and he worked for the kings, lords, they called them. And so one of the lords asked him, he said, "Hey, I heard you got a couple brothers, and they're older than you, and are they good, or what's the deal with them?" And he says, "Well, my oldest brother sees the spirit of sickness, so he removes it before it even takes shape." He says, "My elder brother sees sickness while it is still minute." All right, and keep in mind, the oldest brother, his name doesn't even get out of the house, so people don't even hear about him. And the elder brother, he sees sickness while it's still very minute. So his name doesn't get out of the neighborhood. And he said, "As for me, well, I puncture veins, prescribe potions, and give massages. So my name gets out and is heard all among the lords." And that's why he was famous. And so what this story says, first of all, there's 2 ends. On the medicine end, the oldest one is the best doctor, obviously, because the disease never takes shape. And that's the essence of the Art of War. In any type of conflict or problem that's headed your way, and you see it, and then you prevent it from happening before it even ever happens. And so no one's going to call you a genius because they never saw the problem, but you did, and you solved it before anyone else saw it. And so to them it never existed, you see. The second thing about this is that as a tool, the strong undercurrent of humanism, the Buddhists would go to the burning grounds of corpses, and they would say, and that was to terrify the greed out of themselves, you see, because when you see these people who have less than you, and they can't afford nothing, they couldn't even afford a funeral, and their bodies are poured into the pits, and that gives you a sense of how corrupt the world could be, how unbalanced things are in the world. And that's the whole idea of that, and that's why that's brought into the introduction. And these things are to give you a better idea of how to use the book, the proper way to use the book, and how to understand it better, so that when we get into these proverbs in each chapter, you'll be able to put that with what I've told you in the introduction, and you'll learn it faster, your understanding of it will come together better. Okay, so I'm not going to go into depth. I think that might be enough for just one day. I know I've been like every day with it, and so you might have to listen to it more than once if you're going to try and follow me every day. The good thing about it, it's online, and you just go on there and click what you want, and if you fall behind, you can always catch up later. It doesn't matter. It'll be there for you. Tomorrow I'm going to try, hopefully, be able to get into the Proverbs from each chapter. I'm going to start going over the chapters, and I'm going to jump around the book just to give you a better understanding of the whole book. You know, it's going to take time, but it doesn't take too long when you got someone who can show you. I had to learn myself. So go over that, and I'll be with you tomorrow. Hopefully everything will go good if you memorize everything, and I'll see you then. All right.